went to bleeding races. 'Twas on the 9th of June, 1862, on a summer's afternoon. I took the bus to Banbury's and she was heavy laden. Away we went along Collingwood Street, that's on the road to Bleeding.
You're watching Toon TV. This is the big match preview between my club Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur. It's this Wednesday midweek at St James's Park. It is a 6 o'clock kickoff. The games are coming every 2-3 days and the videos just keep coming on this channel. Just before I jump into the preview, just a couple of announcements. The first one, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. The more people that subscribe, the better. Hit your notification bell so when a video does drop from myself, you'll never miss one. And please, can you hit the thumbs up? It takes literally 2 seconds. And the more people that like the videos, the better. It just goes to prove that you do enjoy the content. So please spare a little bit of time and do that. And secondly, I want to just pay my respect to Jack Charlton, who sadly passed away on Friday the 10th of July. One of the greats in football, one of the best managers in football. Jack Charlton was one of our own and he died at the age of 85. Now, Jack Charlton did manage his hometown club in Newcastle United in the 1980s, and he also won the World Cup in 1966 for England, England's only ever World Cup win, bringing the trophy home. Now, he was a character, he was very approachable, and he'll be missed by everybody. And I just want to say my thoughts and prayers do go out to the family and friends and everybody associated and connected with Jack Charlton, that he will never be forgotten. So my thoughts and prayers do go out to them all if you are watching. Rest in peace, Jack Charlton. Now let's just jump straight into the preview. Let's talk about my club, Newcastle United, first. That's how I go about these previews. If you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan, stay patient, stay tuned. I will be talking about you lot in the second part of the preview, and then I'll be bringing out my score prediction for the game on Wednesday. So keep watching and stay patient. Now, first up, my club, Newcastle United. Right, well, we're currently sat 13th in the Premier League. We're not going down. We're on 43 points. We're rock solid mid-table. We can't finish any lower than 15th, regardless of the results in the next 3 games. The lads, at the minute, are playing as if they're on the beach, and that is the truth, honest opinion of myself, of what I've seen in the past couple of games. We don't believe that we can get Europa League. We had a slight outside chance before we took on West Ham, but with that result, that ended all hopes. And with the result against Manchester City, they don't believe, and the result against Watford, that we can get into the top 10. It's literally nothing to play for. Top 10 in just points, which is a real shame, because after the Bournemouth 4-1 win, when you give yourself an outside chance, and with the pressure already hotting up in those European spots, we weren't really far away, but we must move on from that. Given what happened at the start of the season when Steve Bruce was playing the 5 at the back and we lost a lot of games, I would have snapped your hands off for the position that we're in now, because it looked as if we were, going to get relegated at one point or be there thereabouts near the relegation zone. But fair play to Steve Bruce, he's got we're in a solid position and safe with 5-6 games to go. But now the games are just petering out, and this is the first of 3 games remaining for the Toon. Now, we're in poor form. That's what I've got with down as. We're in very poor form after the 4-1 win against Bournemouth away. West Ham, if you look at the form guide for the last 3 games, we've got a 2-2 draw, which West Ham should have won that game. They had the best chances, and we didn't really look like wanting to win the game. Yes, the lads responded. That was great, but you could just tell the lads were sort of off the pace. Manchester City, it would have been a tough ask to get anything. I was expecting a bit of fight, a bit of passion, and the lads didn't really batter a glove on Manchester City. We didn't turn up, and with their quality, they completely played us off the park. I was so pleased and relieved when the final whistle went. At 5-0, it should have finished double figures to Manchester City, and we won't be the first and the last team to have been pumped 5-0 off them. But when you don't try, that's what happens. And then the last game was a very, very disappointing 2-1 defeat away to Watford after taking the lead, and we missed so many chances. but you can't turn up for 45 minutes and expect to win the game. You've got to turn up for a full 90 minutes, regardless if you're safe or not, or you're playing somebody who's at the top of the league, the middle of the table, or the bottom end of the league. You've got to try for the full 90 minutes. I don't know what Steve Bruce said to them at half-time, but we've seen a total contrast in performance. Now, I said in the Watford preview, I wanted fight, passion, spirit, heart. We got that for 45 minutes. I didn't have a problem. The first half performance was okay. It was a lot better than Manchester City, but at 1-0 is only a slender lead in this league. You've got to score that second goal, and if you don't, if you give a team like Watford an opportunity who's battling relegation, then the minute they get that equaliser, you're not confident that we're going to go on and maybe retake the lead or win the game, and we got punished because we gave away 2 sloppy penalties. And with those last 3 games, we've only picked up 1 point from 9 available. Very disappointing. If you look at West Ham and Watford, you should at least be trying to pick up 4 points, and we've only picked up 1. But we're lucky we're safe, but that's not the mindset that we want. Yes, you could say the lads are on the beach, and at the end of the day, they're getting paid an absolute fortune. The lads need to deliver a lot more than they did, and that was very disappointing. Now, we've got a chance to try and rectify that against Spurs, but it won't be easy because they're a very good side, and I'll talk about them in a second. These are the last side that we want, after a 2-1 defeat and the form that we're on. Now, the formation, if there's any Spurs fans watching, Steve Bruce goes with a 4-2-3-1 formation. He reverted to this new system in the second half of the season. Yes, we've been getting some results, but as of late, we've had a lot of injury concerns. We've had a lot of problems in terms of getting players in for a full 90 minutes, and he's been chopping and changing, so the system hasn't really benefited in the last couple of games, because when games are getting played every 2-3 days, it's hard to really find that consistency, especially if you're a mid-table club like us. And I expect Steve Bruce to go the same way on Wednesday against you lot. I think if we do, we can go toe-to-toe. It won't be easy, but I do expect this formation. If he goes 5 at the back, then I don't think we'll have a chance, because with your quality, we don't defend properly, especially with 5 at the back when you're prone to trying to keep a hold of the ball. We just can't. And I do expect a much better performance. Now, injury news, we are missing some key players. Jamal Lascelles pulled up against Watford on Saturday, our captain, the last thing that we needed. When he's solid at the back, he can speak. He can bark out instructions like he did to Danny Rose when he wasn't pulling his weight in the first half. Sean Longstaff pulled up against Bournemouth a few matches ago. We're missing his presence. And we are having those problems now with the 2-3 games where we're getting niggly injuries, and that's the last thing we want when we've got 3 games to go. Just as well, I say, we are where we are in the league, but if we were battling relegation, it would be very tough on the lads. So the starting lineup, there will be a lot of changes, so let's see what I go with, and don't judge, because like I say, who knows if the team's going to be 100% spot on. I will update that in the comments down below if anything changes in terms of injuries, if say Lascelles or Sean Longstaff come back, but it looks very unlikely at this moment in time. I am recording on a Sunday evening, so it could all change in the next couple of days. Now, let's have a look at the team. So in goal, I'm going to go with Martin Dubravka. At left back, I'm going to go with Emil Kraft. At right back, I'm going to go with Javier Manquillo. My 2 centre backs, first up, Fabian Schär, and alongside him, Florian Lejeune. My 2 holding midfielders, first up, Jonjo Shelvey, and alongside him, Matty Longstaff. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Alan Saint-Maximin. On the right-hand side, I'm going to go with Lazaro. In the cam position, I'm going to go with Miggy Almiron. And up front on his own, I'm going to go with Dwight Gale. Now, that is my starting 11 for the game on Wednesday. What team would you go with? Would you go with the 4 at the back? Would you go with a 5 at the back, being against Tottenham Hotspur in their quality? Let me know down below in the comments. And the reason why I brought in the likes of Fabian Schär, I brought in the likes of Kraft and Lejeune, is because I believe the Lascelles could be missing for this one. I do believe it could be a little bit too soon for him. Lejeune looks as if he's fit, and Fernandez just looks really tired, unfortunately, and it could be a game too soon. I think he needs that breather. He made too many mistakes as well in the game against Watford. You could say the same for Manquillo, but with Danny Rose being ruled out due to the fact he's from Tottenham, then we are limited in that area, and we need to try and see what Lejeune and Shaw can offer. I thought Richie was very poor in the game as well. I think he needs a bit of a breather, and I think Lazaro needs that game time. Joe Linton doesn't really offer too much in a match, and against Tottenham we need to try and get forward as much as possible. Gale has got that pace, and I think he got the goal against Watford. Why don't we just keep him in the side and see if he can notch against Tottenham Hotspur? Now let's move on to Spurs. Now they come off the back of a very impressive 2-1 win against Arsenal at their ground, the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now watching the game, you could say Tottenham Hotspur were lucky to win, but in derby matches you've got to try and find a way to win, whether you play good, whether you play poorly. It's who plays well on the day. It's who wants it more. The form book gets thrown out of the window when it comes to derby matches. You could compare that with us and Sunderland back in the day when we used to be, a rock solid top 7 side, and Sunderland used to be bottom end Premier League club. Form book, it means no nothing, because it's a big game for them, and they've been looking all week to try and get a big result against Arsenal, and that'll give them huge confidence going into the match on midweek against ourselves. And that's the last thing that we needed, was Tottenham winning for their confidence, just when you want to respond after a very disappointing 2-1 defeat ourselves against Watford. Now Tottenham's position in the Premier League is 8th place. They're on 52 points, and they've got an outside chance of the Europa League. I think the Champions League is definitely not really within their grasp. Europa League is where it's at. I think Mourinho's come out and said himself that the Europa League is definitely possible, and with that win against Arsenal, they've really given themselves a chance. They've just got to stay consistent in the next 3 games. Hopefully it's not against us, but they've really started to put some form together at the right time. Now, form-wise, I have said it's been very steady, because they've had games where they haven't been, outstanding. I remember the game against Bournemouth. Now, actually, we'll look at that form. Now, Spurs, they've managed to pick up 6 points or 7 points from a possible 9 available to them, which is decent at this stage of the season when the games are coming thick and fast. Everton, they won 1-0, fully deserved to win the game. Yes, you could say they were off at times, but at home you've got to try and find that way to win. Everton have been a bit off. Bournemouth, they drew 0-0. Yes, they could say they could have a penalty in the first half, but on the whole complexion of the game, I thought Bournemouth were the better side. I thought they had the better chances. Spurs just looked off it, and to go to Bournemouth to get a point, albeit they're in the relegation zone, at least they didn't lose, and they just kept that momentum going into the Arsenal game, which they did win 2-1 at their own place, and that's gave them some real hope now with Europe, some real hope of going forward, from there, and it'll give them real momentum going into this match on Wednesday, knowing that we're not in the best run of form. Now, Spurs, they're a decent side. They do play good football. They have got great quality in their side. I think, in my opinion, they've had a bit of an off-season. Is Mourinho the man for the job? Well, I think he'll be judged next season when he's given some money to spend, if Levy pulls his finger out and they get rid of some players that aren't good enough and they bring some players in with real quality. They've had players this season that have been off form, but then again, they did change the manager at the very start of the season, which I think was a bit of a harsh one when Pochettino was sacked. And talking of Pochettino, of course, he's been linked with the football club if this alleged takeover happens. And Pochettino, when he was in charge of Tottenham at the start of the season, we beat them 1-0 down at the new Ware Hart Lane. So it was great just to get that record off our back, winning at the new ground. And it feels like an absolute age ago that we beat them 1-0, and we weren't our best, but we really found a way to win. And that's what you've got to do against the better sides with better quality. Just play your own game and just hit them on the counter-attack. And Tottenham did have some great chances, but if you don't put them in, it's all good having a load of possession, it's all good having shots on target, but if you don't put the ball in the back of the net, then it really doesn't mean anything. Now, Jose Mourinho goes with a 4-3-3 formation. He's always been that type of manager. Yes, you could say in the past with Man United he's a little bit defensive, but he does like to go for it, and Mourinho's got a great record as a manager. His record speaks for itself. He's a winner. Will he use 4-3-3 going into next season? I don't know, but I think Mourinho will go with that on Wednesday. I think he'll really attack the game. He'll see now that beating Arsenal, there's a chance of beating us, who we're on the beach, and we've really opened up the door to Tottenham to get another result. And with our formation, it gives them a bit more freedom to get up the pitch. And when we use 4-3-3 against Bournemouth, we look really good. But with Tottenham, they've got better quality than us. Hands up, they're a great side, Spurs, and we're going to have to try and match them. But it'll be difficult with that formation. No matter what formation that we go with, we know on that day that they've got quality. Yes, they've been poor in many games, but they do find results out of nowhere. And that's what you've got to do, especially at this stage of the season where points mean everything in this league. And I've got in another point that Tottenham Hotspur will attack us. I do expect them to cause problems right from the very off, and with that quality, there's no question that they will make it difficult for us on the evening, but it's how we go about the game on Wednesday night. Now, players to watch out for, I've actually put in 5 players. First up, as we all know, Harry Kane, a brilliant player. He's not had his best season at Tottenham Hotspur this season, but that's not to say that he won't be a threat on Wednesday. He knows where the net is. He's one of them where he's not blessed with pace, but he's very intelligent. He's great from set pieces as well, free kicks. He's great from attacking set pieces like headers, or if a ball gets closed down in the box, he's there just to maybe try and scramble it into the back of the net. Kane, he's very powerful, he's strong, and we'll have to be careful of him. He can peel off the last man. Not saying he's the paciest, as I've said before, but he can go one-on-one with the keeper, so we'll have to make sure that we don't allow his intelligence to really fool us. Secondly, I'm going to go with Moussa Sissoko. We all know about this lad. He used to play for the Toon. He was okay. He wasn't fantastic. I think he was playing for a move. Very satisfactory player, but we know that on his day in midfield, he's got quality. He can get forward. He can make things happen. He's not scared to have a go from outside the box. We've seen it when he played for the Toon. And we'll have to try and make it as difficult a return for Sissoko as possible, albeit there's no fans. But if we can keep him quiet, then we've got a real chance. Thirdly, I'm going to go with Heung-min Son, who is a great player. He did score in the 2-1 win against Arsenal last game out. We all know how quick he is. When he played Burnley, I think it was at the start of the season, he just took on the whole team from back to front and scored. We all know that he's got tricks up his sleeve. He's good at a lot of things, and he will cause us danger on Wednesday. We'll have to try and match him man for man. And if we keep him quiet, then we've got a real chance as well. Fourthly, I'm going to go with Bergwijn, that new signing from the summer. I think he's been decent. He's had a few good games, a few bad games, but he can get forward from the midfield. He can go onto the wing, so he likes to revert. Mourinho can't play him in so many different positions. He has scored goals. He's got confidence, and I think he's been a real bargain for them this season. And the fifth one, I'm going to go with Lamela. Yes, he's not been fantastic. I think he was poor against Bournemouth, but on his day he can finish. He's not scared to have a long-range effort. He's not scared to make himself a presence. He can, score goals, and that's what Tottenham do offer. And that is the threat for us, for Tottenham, do beg your pardon. And with Tottenham, they will make it difficult for us. And there's no question they're favourites for the match because of our form. But it's how we go about it. If we can match them, if we can show what we're really about, if we can prove the doubters wrong, if we show the same attitude that we showed against Bournemouth and not the performance that I've seen against West Ham, Man City and Watford, then we'll have that chance. But what I want to see on Wednesday, right, is passion, fight, heart. As difficult as that's going to be, I want to see a much all-round better attitude. If we get beaten, we'll have a go, then fair enough. Tottenham are a great side. But if we just show up like we did against Watford on Saturday and just play for half the game, then that's not acceptable. And no wonder we want half of these players out of the football club. Who knows what their motives are, but my motive is to try and get a result on Wednesday night. So for a score prediction, I am going to stick my neck on the line. I do like to be positive. I will go for a 2-1 win. They may be tired. We have had a day's extra rest. And with that 2-1, they can really breathe confidence going into the Brighton game, who look, they're safe as well. But we just need to try and pick up as many points as possible. We are better than that. We have proven in games this season. We've beaten Chelsea at home. We've beaten Man United at home. So I think Tottenham, they could really be that side that we can beat. But then a draw wouldn't be the worst result. But I am going to try and back the lads for 3 points. I will be happy with a point if it comes off. But even if we get beaten, it's a case of we'll try. That's all I can expect. But I don't want, half of a performance. So, let me know your score predictions down below in the comments. If you're new around here, please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up. That would be massively appreciated. Follow me on social media, Toon TV, Instagram and Twitter, and I'll follow you back. And this has been your match preview for the game against Tottenham. Any changes, I will put them down below in the comments, and I'll see you back for the live stream on Wednesday evening for the result at full time against Tottenham Hotspur. As I'll always say, keep it tuned. How are the lads?
lift you up.